Hello everyone and welcome to this video where we are going to take a look at 55 small things you may have missed throughout the first season of The Witcher show on Netflix. Some of them are exclusively from the show, others refer to The Witcher books or The Witcher games, but I made an effort not to mention any differences between the show and the books here, because then this video would have to be an hour long. So without further delay, let's begin. Oh, and I almost forgot to warn you about the absolutely massive spoilers that this video may contain. Spoilers about the games, the books, and everything. So proceed with caution. Right, number 1 is more of an answer to a question that often pops up from gamers, and that is why Geralt only carries one sword on Netflix when he has two in the games. Well, he has two in here as well. It's just that the second one normally stays with Roach, and that is fairly true to the books. Usually in the show we see him carry the steel sword on his back, but in the very beginning, for example, he uses the silver sword against the Kikimor and later on against the Striga. You can see that it's different, it has a white handle and a narrow section at the base of the blade. Number 2, you see how Renfri's hair is kind of uneven? That may be a stylistic choice, but it could also be a reference to the books, where it's said that she had a rather bad case of lice invasion, and so she had to cut her hair to the scalp with sheep shears. After that, it just wouldn't grow back properly.
Are you?
Number 3. Remember how Marilka talked about killing a rat with a fork?
I killed a rat this morning with my breakfast fork.
That is a reference to Geralt killing a rat with a fork actually, in the dark as well. He also tells that story to Triss in the third game.
Never had much luck with rats. Once I hit one with a fork in complete darkness, trying to show off my witcher's senses. Masterful throw, really. Problem was no one else saw it. How could they in the dark?
Number 4, Ciri's grandfather here, Aist Twirsech, is actually the brother of Bran Twirsech.
King Bran of Clan Twirsech!
You smell wonderful.
Geralt, we're at a funeral.
You smell wonderful at this funeral.
Number 5 is the Curse of the Black Sun. This is the same curse with which Syanna is allegedly afflicted by in Blood and Wine. In fact, her story is certainly inspired by Renfri's. You know, both were princesses or duchesses or whatever, both use hairpins as weapons.
We found him in the brush, Renfri's antique brooch jammed into his ear.
I shall never forgive you.
And even Syanna's alias Renawed may also be partially a reference to Renfri's name. Number 6. Mausak is Ermion in the third game.
I got my first deck, years ago, back in Sintra. Proceeded to teach the game to half of Skellige. Why do you ask?
And you probably wonder why he dies in the show? Well, it's never really mentioned what happens to him in the books after Sintra, and he does not appear later in them, so Netflix decided he died. Number 7, the Wraiths of Morhog.
I saw the wraiths of Morhog over the channel this morning.
Yes.
Not to be confused with the Balrog of Morgoth. Are actually the Wild Hunt. Number 8, within 30 seconds in episode 1, they reuse the exact same dancing scene with Ciri. Number 9, Nilfgaard is somehow able to defeat Sintra despite wearing helmets which block their vision completely. Number 10, you see this guy? His ears are not quite as pointy as those of other elves. That is most likely a reference to the books and the fact that in there he is a half-elf. Also, what does created for television mean? It's different than written and it's different than produced. Anyway, number 11, if I'm not mistaken, marks are a Nilfgaardian currency.
4 marks.
Have you gone mad?
And we should be in Vengerberg at this moment, which is in Edirn, not Nilfgaard, And Tisaya isn't from Nilfgaard either, so why do they use those? Later on they do mention ducats, or however it's pronounced.
In advance, I'd pay you 100 ducats.
And I believe those are the right currency? Correct me if I'm wrong. Also, we have 2 parents with black hair, and all 4 of their children have brighter hair colors. Number 12, we have foreshadowing for what's probably going to be in season 3 or 4 of the show.
Wait.
Number 13, Tisaya's voice actress is the same woman who does Anna Henrietta in The Witcher 3.
Volatile and powerful.
You are an idiot who has had wine stolen from under his nose and not even realized it!
And she's great. Number 14, this guy. Is he a dwarf or is he a halfling? I suppose there's a bit of evidence for both. First off, he doesn't have a beard, and most dwarfs do. Also, it seems like he has ever so slightly pointy ears, which makes him resemble the halflings in the 3rd game a little bit. On the other hand though, he wears shoes, which I think is something halflings don't do. They should have feet that look, well, kind of like the hobbits in Lord of the Rings. Although, I guess you could say that because he's a servant, they forced him to wear shoes. But by that logic, you could say that they forced him to shave as well. So, I think I'm leaning a little more to the halfling, but, you know, it's worth discussing. Number 15, Ciri introduces herself as Fiona to hide her true identity.
Fiona.
However, she does it in front of Cintrians, and I find it hard to believe that they haven't heard of it and cannot make the connection. Cirilla Fiona is her actual name, and the Fiona part has been carried over for generations of Cintrian royalty. Number 16, the lady says, Evelian who wish to fight.
Evelian who wish to fight!
I could be wrong, but I don't recall ever hearing that word before. I thought the proper term is Enshe. Number 17,
It's a monster. A Vukudlak.
a Vukudlak can refer to both a werewolf or a vampire, if I'm not mistaken, depending on the language and culture. In here it probably refers to a werewolf or something similar, since he mentions a wolf in the beginning.
When a wolf crosses a maiden's grave.
Number 18, the king these guys are talking about
The king diddled whores while his subjects starved.
is Emperor Emhyr's father. Number 19, Yennefer says that Fringilla and the others know exactly what they want from their enchantments, and implies that she does not see her ideal self as clearly as they do. But actually, Yennefer is the one who changes massively after the enchantment, while Fringilla and Sabrina only get fancier dresses. And speaking of Sabrina and enchantments, I wonder why the whole extraction of reproductive organs ritual was required to make them beautiful, if Sabrina, on her own, without any magical training, still managed to turn her mother fat.
Sabrina turned her mother fat.
Number 20, Geralt makes a unicorn reference before ever meeting Yennefer.
Call her a princess. Call her a unicorn if you'd like to.
Number 21, the woman who voices Anna Henrietta argues with Fringilla Vigo's uncle. However, he is Anna Henrietta's uncle as well. Also, he created the fairy tale land in Blood and Wine.
4 animals stacked atop each other. What was the tale called again?
The musicians of Blaviken. Huh. You've some link to the town as well, don't you?
But my tale's not much like this one.
Oh, Geralt. And they call me cruel.
Number 22, Yennefer is posing in front of a shattered mirror. Number 23, Geralt's fight with the Striga is visually very similar to the intro cinematic of the first Witcher game. Number 24, this creature is most likely a Frightener.
Shit! What is that? A Frightener. One mean beast.
Savola. I know him. A mage as ambitious as he is insane.
But I'm not entirely sure. Number 25, Dandelion has something going on with this chubby dark-haired lady here. We see them being real close in a few shots. Number 26, there is some deadly massaging going on at one of the tables. Number 27, Duny and Emperor Emhyr are the same person. Number 28, you should enable subtitles for this episode, otherwise you could miss that the wind is howling. Number 29, they reused the Blaviken set where Yennefer resides before she meets Geralt. Number 30.
I am Borch, 3 jackdaws.
3 jackdaws, or 3 black birds, is what his true draconic name translates to. Meanwhile, it actually sounds like this. Number 31, they drink wine made into sun.
Small.
Number 32, Yennefer tells Dandelion that he got older.
The crow's feet are new.
Which is fine, but he hasn't really changed at all. I personally can't see any crow's feet. Number 33, there is snow everywhere except for the Brokilon forest. That can be seen early on as well. It's probably melted by all the lens flares. Number 34, Yarpen lists the realms in the wrong order. He says that once Nilfgaard takes Sodden, the next one that falls will be Temeria, Redania, and finally Sintra. But Sintra is actually the closest one to Sodden out of the 3, and does in fact fall first, as we know from the show. Number 35, Geralt wears Renfri's hairpin on his sword. And not just that, he actually had it for some time, but he only put it there after one of 2 events. Either after he realized that he's about to have a child surprise, or after he met Yennefer. I can't tell for sure because I don't think we see his sword at all in the Meeting Yennefer episode. Number 36, Geralt enters an absolutely tiny tent, which is huge on the inside. It's gotta be magic. Number 37, Saskia is in that egg, most likely, you know, from The Witcher 2.
My favorite type of magic.
Number 38, almost every episode is written by a different person according to the credits. Number 39, Ciri couldn't pronounce Skellige properly.
Did you ever stop missing Skellige?
What?
But then figured it out.
Skellige.
However, now this woman can't pronounce it properly.
What's so special about Skellige?
Number 40, Geralt says that he saw Nilfgaard's army as a sea of black and gold.
A sea of black and gold.
Yet earlier, when they showed us what he actually saw, it was an unusually long, single-file line of soldiers. Now, he did say he saw them camping, so maybe he's referring to something else, but I thought it's a bit of a visual confusion. Also, this episode may or may not have been brought to you by Peugeot. Number 41, Vilgefortz is spying on Istrid and Yennefer.
Because I may be missing you.
Number 42, this scene makes no sense. Yennefer finds out that some of the girls are only there because their parents paid the school.
Your parents paid Aretusa.
And they're even ashamed to admit that they didn't have a conduit moment.
But you all must have had a conduit moment.
We shouldn't be mixing herbs. We shouldn't even be here.
Which, as described early on, is the first time their magical abilities manifest.
Each one of you showed an aptitude for channeling it. Your conduit moment created a new ripple in chaos, reaching me here in Aretusa.
But then immediately afterwards, she takes them to the eel power plant and tells them that they will end up there because they have no talent for magic.
Just because you fucked it up doesn't mean we will.
You!
Come on.
With all the magical talent of shoe leather. You'll have a home here forever. Grisella.
Anyway, so it seems to me that it would be impossible for someone without a conduit moment to be used as an eel battery.
I took away her control, but she still has power.
She's a conduit. For Aretusa.
With all the magical talent of shoe leather. You'll have a home here forever. Letting in girls who can't even do magic.
Number 43, Fringilla tells Tisaya that something, whatever it was, makes them cousins.
We've simply charted a different path, guided by the white flame. That makes us cousins.
Which is kind of cute, considering that in The Witcher 3, Tisaya's actress voices the actual cousin of Fringilla.
You also believe in forbidden magic, demonology, necromancy, fire magic.
Lesbomancy.
Number 44, the Nilfgaardian soldier recites Ithleen's prophecy.
What signs these shall be, I say unto...
I'm not sure why, probably something to do with the portrayal of Nilfgaard as religious fanatics. Later on, Ciri does it as well, but I suppose it makes more sense, since she's tied to the whole end of the world and elder blood and whatnot. And another thing here is that we see her lips out of sync with her voice, as well as time apparently going forwards and backwards as she recites it, which likely hints at the true potential of her powers, which is to control time and space. Number 45. We see the remains of the camp that Ciri visited in earlier episodes. You know, the one where she cut the line. Number 46. Yennefer refuses to take part in the preparations for the battle. She's just walking around while everyone does things. Well, I suppose she makes a few arrows in the end.
Sorry.
Number 47. Yennefer says she's lived 3 lifetimes. Now, keep in mind that in the show, they made her a little younger. Normally, she should be about 90 years old here, if I'm not mistaken, but right now she's about 70. So 3 lifetimes may be an overstatement. Also, the world of The Witcher is somewhat more advanced than our Middle Ages, so I'm fairly certain that the average lifespan is not, 25 years long or something? Number 48. You see how Tisaya is taking Triss by the hand and kind of observing her as she casts her spell? That might be a reference to the fact that Triss is one of the younger and less experienced sorceresses. Number 49. This woman here, Coral, is the same one who is said, in The Witcher 3, to have compressed various people into figurines during this battle, and we can decompress them in The Witcher 3 once again.
Who are you? What's the last thing you remember?
I remember a hill. A battle. I had orders for a unit. I remember a sorceress. Her hair like flames. She cast a spell. The right flank was to attack. Hit the shield bearers.
The right flank didn't attack, and the sorceress was Lytta Nade, known also as Coral. I was there too.
Also in the books, Geralt slept with her. Number 50. Vilgefortz is arguably the most powerful sorcerer alive, especially when it comes to such 1v1 fighting, so there's definitely something fishy going on here. There's no way he would lose this fight, unless the losing is intentional. Number 51. We have the same geographical problem here as we did earlier. Assuming Geralt's mother is taking him towards Kaer Morhen and Vesemir, he should have listed Vengerberg before Lyria and Rivia, since it's basically on the way to them. However, he's still a kid, so I guess I shouldn't hold it against him.
Ma!
Number 52. This is how Triss got her scars, which Lambert mentions in the 3rd game.
Triss is managing all right.
How are those scars she got at Sodden? Still there?
Lambert. Not funny.
Number 53. We clearly have a Warcraft 3 Spellbreaker Easter egg.
This magic in the air.
I smell magic in the air.
Number 54. This mage is likely using the alternate Ard sign. In the books, it's actually said that sorcerers are also capable of casting signs. In fact, the signs are kind of a lesser form of magic, if you will. And finally, number 55. This is something I had initially missed, and it's that Yennefer absorbs the fire from the burning fort to then unleash it on the Nilfgaardian army. I suppose it didn't cross my mind because if that were possible, I wonder why Fringilla had to sacrifice her fellow mages to create one fireball each. Instead, they could have just started a big fire and made a lot of fireballs out of it. But anyway, I think that's all I had for you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider giving it a like. Also, make sure to let me know what you thought of everything I said, and if there are any other details that you think I should have mentioned. Thank you very much for watching. Special thanks to the people who chose to support me by becoming members of my YouTube channel or through my Patreon page. And until the next video, stay tuned and be good.